Thanks for joining me, and come on in. Now, following on from part 1, as you know, I've travelled now to Slingsby. I've been drawn to a copse and I've pulled up by that copse and I've asked Google who hung themselves in Slingsby Woods, because that's the type of thing you'd expect in the woods, a hanging. And like I say, a name came up which was Michael Bogg, which meant absolutely nothing to me until I read on further. This was the morning after Claudia had spoken to others, such as a mum, a dad, Jen King, Susie Cooper, the Cypress Boys, and Liz Holder. Michael Bogg, the Slingsby milkman. And what Michael told the police was that Peter was looking very agitated, very dishevelled, very grubby in the early hours after his daughter Claudia went missing. Now, it's reported that the cause of Michael Bogg's death was not reported as suspicious to the public. So that leaves it an open-ended question. Was it actually reported as being suspicious to the police and the authorities? It does have you thinking that it were reported as being suspicious privately. Now, for me, there's quite a few reasons which have me to believe that Michael Bogg was killed. Deliberately and consciously. Now, I say that because the day we decided to go into Slingsby, which was to find Peter Lawrence's home, totally forgetting about the milkman, certainly not knowing his name as being Michael Bogg, and on driving into Slingsby being drawn to the copse, and up pops Michael Bogg's name, which then reveals it was the milkman, which then made me draw a breath. It happened to be on Michael Bogg's anniversary. And the eerie circumstances of how his death were reported or not reported. And for those that know my favourite numbers, 1111. Well, if you look under Michael Bogg's obituary, it's the 11th of May 2011. Michael Bogg, 1942 to 2011. Now, my mother was born in 42 and her birthday's in March, and my number's 11. Michael Bogg, the Slingsby milkman. He was found unconscious in his delivery van at the dairy at Rye Hills. He died a day later in York Hospital. Boggy, as he was known, was born in Slingsby and had lived there all his life. Boggy was 69 when he died, and he'd been the local milkman in Slingsby and surrounding villages for over 50 years. So knew absolutely everybody. Boggy attended Slingsby School, and his first paid job was a farm boy at Beck Farm on Railway Street, and he was just aged 10. But the Holder family took over that farm and they gave his coveted job to Noel, their eldest son. Noel was the same age as Boggy, And so Boggy went on to be a farm boy at the Lange Farm in Southholme. And Michael and Noel, they fought like cat and dog until they eventually became firm friends, meeting weekly until, that is, Michael died. Let's not forget Liz Holder is the last person who spoke to Claudia on the 18th of March. And Noel Holder obviously ceased friendships with Michael Bogg the day he died. Now, Michael Bogg died in March, but it was reported on the 18th of July. Claudia Lawrence vanished on the 18th of March 2009, and Michael Bogg passed 2 years later in 2011. Michael had a sideline in fattening bull calves for beef, which he kept in the local area in rented sheds. And Michael also kept up to 1,000 pigs, which he kept in derelict buildings at Grange Farm in Frighton. Michael Bogg were a kind man. He was devoted to his friends, and he particularly liked children. He often carried a ready supply of chocolate biscuits and Cadbury's cream eggs to hand out to his younger friends, and for his older friends, they often woke up surprised to find produce, vegetables from Michael's garden that I used to leave for him on the back door steps. And he was devoted to his parents and his auntie in Norton, who he visited regularly. And the erratic hours that he kept for milk delivery began after his mum died. And his father, who was blind, he feared he'd get up to mischief if he left him. So he'd wait until his dad was safely in bed before he set off to do his milk round. But Michael discovered peace being out there when nobody else were around. He loved to stop and watch the deer, the owls, the foxes. But little escaped his eyes as he travelled around those country lanes. But recently, his van had become more like his home, and Michael used to sleep in it and park in field entrances because his arthritis had affected his mobility, and it made it more difficult for him to get in and out. And his customers had become so thoughtful, they used to leave the empties high on the wall, so it caused Michael the minimum of movement. Now here's a lovely character reference from a Margaret Mackinder. And Margaret also is a name that connects to both Claudia as well as Michael. Michael's passion was for horse racing. He attended meetings across the north of England as often as he could, with the occasional visit to the Cheltenham Festival. In fact, local jockey Mark Birch used to get him a pass and take him along in a car full of fellow jockeys to northern meetings, which he adored. Also keen for a good tip, his van was seen regularly parked outside the Turf Accountants in Malton. Outings to race meetings were also an excuse to indulge his other passion, that of a good dinner. His favourite were a jumbo-sized mixed grill. And Described by his friends as a good doer, he also enjoyed cooking and liked to roast a large chicken with a full range of veg which he'd consume by himself in one sitting. Michael owned a rare penny farthing bicycle, bought after its previous Slingsby owner, Robert Dosser, died, and he mastered the near impossible task of riding this precarious iron beast and was seen around the village on it. He finally sold it about 12 years ago in a local antiques auction, and it created so much interest. Even though he had a large frame and severe arthritis, making his movements in and out of the van extremely painful, extremely difficult, he was determined to keep going. And those who knew him well agreed that his life ended as he would have wanted, still out and about in his van, still very much part of the scene. Thank you for that lovely statement, Margaret McKinder.